Hey everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. It is episode 189, and Mark, I'm already intrigued by what you're hinting at today. You've been quiet, but you've had that look. The one that says, I found something shiny.
Oh, you know me, Jenny. When I get that look, it means I've been diving deep into some cool tech gadgetry. And today, we're talking about something I think is going to be significant. The RayNeo Air 3's XR glasses.
RayNeo Air 3's XR glasses. Okay, Mark, I'm listening. I've seen a few different AR or XR glasses pop up over the last couple of years. But what makes these stand out from the crowd?
All right, you ready for this? The display technology. These aren't using traditional LCD panels, which you see in a lot of consumer electronics. RayNeo's gone with micro-OLED technology. And let me tell you, that makes a considerable difference.
Micro-OLED? Like the screens in really high-end TVs or our phones, but mini? Like really mini? How does that even work practically in glasses so close to your eyes?
Exactly. Think about those amazing deep blacks, the crisp details, and the vibrant colors you get with OLED displays on, say, a premium smartphone. Now shrink that down to a tiny, postage stamp-sized chip right in front of your eye. The contrast ratio alone is something like 200,000 to 1. That means true black pixels that are actually off, unlike the grayish blacks you sometimes see on other display types. It gives you this incredibly sharp, clear, and immersive image. RayNeo claims it enables the perception of a 200-inch virtual screen seen from about, something like 6 meters away. Imagine sitting in the 10th row of a movie theater. That's roughly the experience they're aiming for.
A 200-inch virtual screen? In glasses? Wow. So it's essentially like having a personal cinema theater right there, just for you? I can already picture myself watching movies on a long-haul flight with that. Though, maybe not during takeoff and landing.
Pretty much. And the resolution is 1080p times upper eye, so delivering a full HD image to each eye, with an 8K tier pixel density when you consider how small the actual physical display is. It's packed in there. Plus, for the gamers out there, the response time? Less than 0.01 milliseconds? For anything requiring quick reactions, that low latency is a significant advantage.
Okay, Mark, you're definitely getting me hooked on the visual experience part. But if I'm going to be wearing these for a while, like for a full movie or a gaming session, my eyes have to be comfortable. That's always a big concern with screens situated so close to your face.
That's a perfect segue, Jenny, because that's exactly what RayNeo is focusing on with what they call OptiCare. It's their vision comfort system, designed specifically to reduce eye strain during extended use. They use this combination of DC and high-frequency PWM dimming, pulsing the light at a super high frequency of 3,840 Hz. And beyond that, they do some rather fancy color calibration work.
Okay, hold up. DC plus PWM dimming and color calibration. Unpack that a little more for me, Mark. How does that actually help my eyeballs feel less tired after using these?
Right, fair point, bit technical. So, some displays, especially older ones, flicker to control brightness using something called pulse width modulation, or PWM. When that flickering happens at a low frequency, it can be uncomfortable and cause fatigue, even if you don't consciously notice it. Your eyes and brain are still working to process that flicker. DC dimming is a more consistent way to control brightness, like just reducing the voltage. RayNeo is using a combination. But crucially, the PWM part is happening at a remarkably high frequency, way beyond what your eyes would normally detect as flicker. Think of it like a light that seems perfectly steady. And by carefully calibrating the colors and maintaining stable light output within a specific range, they're trying to make the light hitting your eyes as consistent and comfortable as humanly possible over time. They claim it reduces cumulative eye strain by about 37% compared to older, less optimized models.
Wow, a 37% reduction in eye strain? That's a significant number. I know I've definitely felt that fatigue after using screens for too long, whether it's my laptop or even my phone in low light. So if I wanted to use these for a few hours, is OptiCare enough to prevent any discomfort?
Well, they say you might need around 15 minutes of recovery time after a 2-hour session, based on some self-reported user data they've collected. So, while it significantly reduces strain compared to other tech, very long sessions still might necessitate taking a break, which is probably smart screen practice anyway, right? Look away, stretch, hydrate, the usual.
That makes sense. Hydrate. Look away from the screen. The standard advice we should probably all follow more often. Alright, so visuals sound amazing with the micro-OLED, and they've put some real thought into eye comfort with OptiCare. What about sound? Are we talking tiny tinny speakers nestled in the arms? Or something a bit more substantial?
They have a quad speaker array built into the frame arms, which helps with creating a sense of spatial audio. It's capable of a decent 60 decibels signal-to-noise ratio, which is respectable for glasses. But the particularly interesting thing about the audio is the open-ear time design.
Open ear? So, sound can get times two? Like, people sitting next to you might hear what you're listening to? Isn't that kind of a privacy issue? Especially if you're, say, on public transport?
It's certainly times can times be. Particularly if you have the volume turned up very high. That's the trade-off. The primary benefit of the open-ear design is that you can still hear what's happening in your physical environment around you, which truthfully is pretty important if you're using these outside or in a public space. You definitely don't want to be completely cut off from your surroundings for safety reasons, like not hearing traffic. So, it's a balance. Situational awareness versus personal audio privacy.
Okay, so the open-ear design is more for safety and awareness of your environment, not necessarily for keeping your movie audio a secret on a busy commuter train. Got it. Switching gears a bit. How do they actually feel on your face? Wearability is incredibly crucial, especially if you plan on wearing glasses for anything more than a few minutes.
That brings us to the weight. They weigh in at a mere 76 grams. To give you some perspective, that's significantly lightweight for XR glasses with this level of tech packed in. Reviewers who have gotten their hands on them have consistently praised the comfort, saying it's a noticeable improvement over previous iterations of this kind of tech. They even include accessories like swappable nose pads and an insert for prescription lenses, which is a thoughtful touch for people like me who need corrective lenses.
76 grams? That times really lightweight. Some regular sunglasses I own feel heavier than that. That definitely sounds promising for longer use sessions. So we've got impressively innovative display tech with micro-OLED, a thoughtful approach to eye comfort with OptiCare, decent spatial audio with that open-ear design for awareness, and a lightweight, comfortable build. What are the potential downsides? Or is it all sunshine and rainbows?
Well, a couple of things frequently pop up in pre-release reviews and spec comparisons. Firstly, they lack electrochromic dimming. Now that's a bit of jargon, but it's a fancy way of saying the lenses don't automatically tint or darken to block out brighter external ambient light. This could potentially make the virtual screen less visible, or the image less impactful if you're trying to use them in direct sunlight or a very brightly lit room. And secondly, they rely on a wired USB-C connection to your source device, be it your phone, laptop, etc. This limits your mobility compared to a completely wireless setup, which some users might prefer for certain applications.
So, no walking around the block watching a movie with these on, probably, unless you have an extremely long cable. You're essentially tethered to your device for power and data. That makes a lot of sense for focused personal viewing or gaming while seated, but it does limit their potential for more active or expansive AR applications, where you'd want complete freedom of movement.
Exactly. It positions them more for being your personal large-screen display for cinema, streaming, or gaming while you're stationary, rather than being a do-it-all, walk-around-the-real-world with overlays AR device. But for that specific use case, that high-quality, personal big-screen experience, the display quality and the focus on comfort truly seem to be their strengths.
And speaking of display strengths and the potential for this tech, you included some data about the broader AR display market. It looks like it's expected to grow quite considerably in the next few years, which paints an interesting picture for companies working in this space.
Oh man, yeah, the projections are pretty eye-opening. Analysts are predicting considerable growth. We're talking from around a $13 billion market projected for this year, 2025, just soaring to an estimated $88 billion by 2030. That's steep growth in just 5 years. And a sizable chunk of that growth is expected to come from things beyond just consumer glasses, like automotive HUD integrations, heads-up displays for cars that project information onto your windshield.
Whoa! AR coming to our cars? That's a fascinating thought. Imagine navigation arrows appearing right on the road ahead of you. So RayNeo's expertise in this specific display tech, micro-OLED, and their OptiCare system could be valuable not just for consumer glasses, but potentially for licensing or developing tech for other industries too?
Precisely, Jenny. Their intellectual property around this high-quality micro-OLED technology and the systems they've developed for user comfort, like OptiCare, could easily be licensed out to other manufacturers or adapted for different platforms. It puts them in a pretty interesting strategic position for the future of these kinds of compact, high-performance displays, whether it's in consumer glasses, automotive applications, or even something like industrial headsets. Or something we haven't even thought of yet. It's a versatile underlying technology.
That indeed opens up a whole avenue of possibilities, beyond just personal entertainment. So to quickly sum up the RayNeo Air 3s from what we've discussed, we're looking at some significant display innovation with that micro-OLED, a thoughtful and seemingly effective approach to eye comfort with OptiCare, decent spatial audio with the open-ear design providing that key environmental awareness, and a truly lightweight, comfortable build for extended use. The main limitations seem to be that lack of dynamic dimming for brighter outdoor situations. And, of course, the requirement of that wired connection.
That's a good summary. They seem to be really dialing in and optimizing for that personal, large-screen viewing experience, prioritizing core aspects like display quality and user comfort within that specific context. And given the rather substantial projected growth in high-quality compact display tech across various sectors, it certainly feels like RayNeo is developing expertise in an area that's set to become increasingly important.
It's certainly exciting to see how quickly this technology is developing and evolving. Lighter devices, genuinely better display quality, more thought put into user comfort, and long-term wearability. It's definitely a space to keep a close eye on. Thanks for breaking down the RayNeo Air 3s for us, Mark, and giving us that peek into the potential future for this tech.
Anytime, Jenny. Happy to delve into cool displays and potential future tech. Until next time, everyone.
And we'll see you next time.